this is down from 55.54% in the previous quarter. This change aligns with the MSCI index's requirement of keeping FII shareholding below 55.5%. But what does this effectively mean for the bank? My colleague Vishwanath is now joining us on this. Vishwanath, hi. Vishwanath, I know we've chatted about this before, but explain to our viewers what is happening with the stock and why is this so important for the broader markets, because it essentially did lead the markets to 80,000.
Yeah, Nupur, so the idea here is that HDFC Bank essentially will get more foreign funds into the bank. So more foreign investors will likely buy the HDFC Bank stock because this foreign shareholding limit has gone down from 55.54 to 50.83 right now. What does it mean? Well, HDFC Bank, like all other private banks in the country, has a maximum limit of 74% of foreign shareholding. Now, that is something that the RBI mandates. Now, when the foreign shareholding drops below 55%, then essentially the gap between the maximum limit increases to about 19%. And that's opening up doors for more foreign investors to come in. And the expectation is that $3 to $4 billion worth of flows will essentially come into HDFC Bank over the course of the next few weeks. Remember that the MSCI index, that is an important part of this entire equation. MSCI index has HDFC Bank as a key participant in it, but HDFC Bank's holding or weightage in that index had been reduced to half in July last year after HDFC Bank merged with HDFC Limited. So that 3.69% weightage will go up to 7.2, 7.5%, which will allow more passive funds that are there globally tracking this index come into the HDFC Bank stock and thereby push up the foreign shareholding in HDFC Bank, thereby also helping, of course, the overall Indian markets.
HDFC Bank has been grabbing headlines for the past year. Now, the shares of the bank essentially have gained about 10% in the last 1 month or so. This is, of course, after they were underperforming for quite some time. Now, do you see the bank actually dominate, the headlines over the next some time to come at least?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, July of 2023 is when this merger between HDFC Bank and HDFC Limited took place. And over the last 1 year, what has happened is that HDFC Bank is trying to get used to the entire merged entity. It is a significantly larger entity now, and therefore it takes a little more time to get the business in order. But the expectation is that this year onwards, that is FY25 onwards, we will likely see a significant performance improvement on HDFC Bank on the basis of the numbers itself. The HDFC Bank CEO has repeatedly said that he will make the elephant dance, and this because HDFC Bank has become the second largest lender in the country after this merger. So it's essential to see that kind of improvement in the financial side of the story. That will obviously help the stock itself. Over the last 1 year, we've seen the stock lose out on a lot of holdings simply because the performance has not been up to the mark. Understandably so, margins have come down. Deposit growth is not as strong as one would want it, but the expectation is that over the course of this year, those things will start getting addressed.
Vishy, you were talking about FIIs, but apart from that, do you also see domestic funds eyeing the stock in the near term?
Yeah, so over there, as we were discussing a little earlier, that foreign shareholding has come down, and this was primarily because of the underperformance, and that has led to even the domestic investors starting to take a slightly negative or a not so positive, I would say, outlook on the stock. So now, if the performance starts improving, the Q1 update for HDFC Bank is likely to be expected in the next day or two. That's when we'll know how the April-June quarter was for the bank. And if, according to expectations, the bank does outperform itself, then that will be a big boost for the bank. Q3 was not that great. Q4 was solid, but Q1 will be something that the market is going to watch out for, domestic as well as international investors. And if the performance is strong, then we'll likely see the domestic investors starting to pick up the stock.
All right, Vishy, thank you very much for joining us and breaking that big story down for us.